Thank you, Denny. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning. Distinguished speakers, panelists, industry leaders, clients, partners, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the 4th edition of CGS International Securities Malaysia's ESG and Sustainability Conference. This year, we chose the theme Empowering Sustainable Generations. Ladies and gentlemen, everything has a life cycle. People, companies, industries, even resources of competitive advantage that once powered an economy eventually give away to something new. So the question of sustainability was never about preserving the present indefinitely. It is about whether each cycle leaves behind stronger foundations than it inherited. The generation enters the workforce, earns their money, saves it and invests. Those savings and investments become the capital. The capital finances companies, infrastructure and innovation. Investment raises productivity, and productivity creates better jobs and higher incomes, which create new savings and new capital. When that process works, one generation expands the opportunities available to the next. And to me, that is what sustainability ultimately means. Which is why today's conversation has to go beyond sustainability reports, emissions targets, and compliance checklists, and beyond the comfortable numbers. Environmental sustainability matters enormously, but so does the S in ESG. And I want to spend a few minutes inside it rather than beside it. Let's start with demographics. Malaysia's total fertility rate fell to 1.6 children per woman in 2024, down from 1.7 the year before. Below the replacement level of 2.1, a threshold we have not touched since 2013 from the Department of Statistics Malaysia. We are aging before we have finished growing rich as a nation. That alone would be a serious structural challenge. But it does not stand alone. Malaysia's income inequality has actually been narrowing. The Gini coefficient fell to 0.39 in 2024 from 0.404 in 2022, the lowest reading since before the pandemic, and relative poverty held at 16.7% nationally. But that is actually a progress and it deserves to be said plainly. Again, from the Department of Statistics Malaysia. But the 16.7% is just an average, and averages flatten geography. Rural poverty stood at 24.8% in 2024, more than double the urban rate of 11.9%. Median household reached 7,017 ringgit, a number that describes a very different life in Kuala Lumpur than it does in rural Kelantan or Sabah, for example. Narrowing inequality nationally does not mean the map is flat. And then there is an outlook. The World Bank report published earlier this year, pointedly titled Raising the Ceiling, Raising the Floor, estimated that 1.9 million Malaysians now live abroad, more than half of them in skilled and semi-skilled work, concentrated in Singapore, Australia, UK and US. The same report found that underemployed graduates here at home earning 49% less than their peers whose jobs actually match their qualifications. And this is from the World Bank 2026. Now, when we read those two numbers together, the story is not simply talent lives for higher pay. It is we are producing graduates faster than we are producing the high value jobs to absorb them. So the ambitious ones leave, and the ones who stay often underemployed relative to what they train for. Fertility, inequality, and brain drain are usually discussed at 3 separate panels, at 3 separate conferences. But they are not separate. They are all questions about whether this country is building the kind of future its own people want to stay and build. A country is not sustainable if its young people cannot see a future in which they can afford to start a family. If its most talented graduates believe that their best years belong somewhere else, or if the growth on the national balance sheet does not show up in the lived experience of the household generating it. This is also why sustainability cannot be separated from productivity. But some good news, we are already seeing some movement under the government's Gear Up program. 34 GLICs and GLCs have committed to a minimum living wage of 3,100 per month for roughly 153,000 employees. This one came from Portal Keuangan. That should not be filed under corporate benevolence. It is the economics of capability building, attracting talent, retaining it, and making sure productivity gains actually translate into household security instead of stopping at the balance sheet. The same discipline applies to the E of the ESG. Malaysia needs more renewable capacity, a smarter grid, cleaner generation, and a storage infrastructure to support industries whose energy appetite will only grow. For the current regulatory period 2025 to 2027, Tenaga Nasional Berhad has been allocated 42.82 billion in regulated capital expenditure to unlock demand growth, support the energy transition, and maintain system reliability, alongside expanding renewable capacity and strengthening grid integration. That is sustainability as an investment, not a slogan. And it has real economic consequences. A reliable, increasingly clean power system strengthens Malaysia's case as a destination for high-value investment, helps our companies meet global supply chain expectations, and create demand for new skills and new capabilities. In other words, sustainability is not simply cost imposed on business. Done well, it is an exercise in productivity and long-term value creation. The capital must be allocated with discipline too. Corporate Malaysia has spent decades rebuilding that discipline since the Asian financial crisis. It is a genuine strength, but discipline should not curdle into timidity. Where economics work, companies should have the confidence to invest in technology, automation, R&D, renewable energy, people, and new markets. As a capital markets institution, CGS International sits at several points on that cycle. We connect investors to opportunities, help companies access capital, and provide research that helps people understand the risks. But there is one more link in that chain that deserves more attention than it usually gets: financial capability at the level of individual household. Malaysia's financial literacy and capability stood at 59.1 out of 100 in 2024, broadly flat at 59.0 in 2021. What is more telling is that while financial knowledge improved over that period, small number, financial behavior actually declined. The gap is the whole ballgame. Higher wages cannot build resilience if households do not save and invest. A deeper capital markets means little if people do not understand the risk they are taking. A decision to save, to invest, borrow, insure or plan for retirement looks small in any given month. Compounded over decades, it is the difference between a household that weathers the shock and the one that doesn't. That thinking sits behind the Up and Away. It's a card game that which are proud to launch later today, an interactive financial literacy game developed with Malaysian content creator and comic artist Ernest Ng, built so players can make real choices, face real trade-offs, and feel consequences before the stakes in their own lives get high. It is a small initiative by CGS, but it is built on the same belief that its entire conference, that resilience, corporate or personal, is rarely one in one decision. It is compounded quietly over many of them. And if you look at today's program, the topics may seem different. We will discuss the EVs, electric vehicles, Malaysia's changing demographics, rising healthcare costs, energy security, corporate ESG, estate and inheritance planning, and affordable food. But they all come back to one question. How do we continue to grow as a country while making sure that growth remains sustainable, inclusive, and resilient? Ladies and gentlemen, we are not able to solve everything today in this conference. That was never today's job anyway. What we can do is to have an honest conversation, one that does not flinch from having harder numbers just because they complicate the ESG numbers or report. If we leave today's conference sessions having questioned one assumption about our businesses, our investments, or our own money, then this whole conference will have done its work. Because in the end, as I started, every generation inherits the cycle the one before it built, whether that cycle was virtuous or not. And ours is still being written. Let's make sure it's one worth inheriting. I would like to thank all our speakers, moderators, panelists for giving us your time and your candor this morning. And to our clients, partners, and guests for being here with us. Many thanks as well to the CGS team and everyone that worked behind the scenes who made today's possible. On behalf of CGS International Securities, I wish all of you a productive, engaging, and honest conference. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Encik Khairi, for your welcoming remarks and for setting the mood for how this conference will play out today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to go into our first panel.